there are certain things where it's like when we're talking about character issues and when we're talking about very black and white decisions, that the right and wrong is like, it's not subjective in any way, shape, or form. Like there's right and there's wrong. And then you've got like opinions, and you've got it over here that right and wrong comes down to, well, and we are back with another episode of the Julius Files. Okay, so I want to get right into this because I have been consuming some podcasts myself, and I have noticed that I consume a lot more of the podcasts that are kept between like 15 and 20 minutes, unless they're interviewing somebody. So I'm going to try and duplicate that and keep these pods short and sweet, and hopefully deliver a message. So I parted ways with a member of my leadership team, and they had something to say about me, and I thought that was would make a good pod in itself. In transparency, I demoted this individual for terrible performance, and then they chose to quit. But what they said about me in their parting on social media was it was a backhanded compliment. I take it as a compliment. It was I was very confident in myself and my ideas, and I had a team that would follow me right or wrong. And it's like there are certain things where it's like when we're talking about character issues and when we're talking about very black and white decisions, that the right and wrong is like, it's not subjective in any way, shape, or form. Like there's right and there's wrong. And then you've got like opinions, and you've got it over here that right and wrong comes down to, well, the opinion, and then we get back into the definition that most people subscribe to in family, in being they're family, so it doesn't matter that they're a loser or a fuck up. I should support them, and I don't subscribe to that kind of family. But when I really started thinking about their words, it was I am confident in myself, and I am confident in my ideas. One, because I'm a consummate tester. I accept that I will test 10 things, and I only need one or two of them to truly like knock it out of the park. And I can write off the other 7, 8, or 9 of them as learning experiences in general. But it was their statement was because they thought they knew better than me, and they wanted to do it their way. And consequently, the result of their way was to continually cost me money and not actually perform. And they had a whole lot less experience, both in life and business. So I am very candid that no, I'm very confident in myself and my ideas, and the direction that I know that I want to go. And while I always leave myself open to other people's input, ultimately I'm like, make accountability great again, make responsibility great again. And if I'm going to be ultimately responsible for everyone and everything and accountable for everyone and everything, well, then ultimately I know that I have to be the decision maker. And that's just part of entrepreneurship in general, that you can sit there and subscribe to being a victim, but when you don't have food on your table, honestly, you got nobody to blame but yourself, because if you don't own the decisions, then you're just being a victim, and there's no room for victimhood inside of entrepreneurship. And in my personal feelings, I don't believe there's any room for victimhood inside of experiencing any type of success or fulfillment in life. But then when the comment was made that my team was willing to follow me right or wrong, I really started thinking about that. And I started thinking, well, there's truth there, because it is rare in a small business that you are able to get people to stick with you for a year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And I have members of my team that have literally been with me for years, and several of them 5 and a few of them 10 or more. Why is that? Why are they willing to, quote unquote, follow me, whether I'm right or wrong? And then I started thinking back to my core principles of respect, rapport, reputation. Well, why are they willing to trust me and follow me? Because I think that it is a building of trust. And some of it might have to do with them observing me doing things that either they didn't think was possible or they didn't think that I could actually get done. But I think that it has more to do with humility, because when I am wrong, I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong. And then I ask the team to rally around me to course correct and actually go another direction to try and to make things right. But at the end of the day, it does come back to trust, that they trust that I am here making decisions that are in the best interest of the group. And some of this was like, I started looking at the analogies of the honeybees, because, obviously you've got your worker bees, and then you've got the queen bee that she's actually producing all of the worker bees to do all of the work. But then you've got your killer honeybees, and the killer honeybees are there to kill the queen if they're not producing good results or if they're producing bad offspring. And that is the job of the entrepreneur, that if you're truly trying to scale something, that you're trying to scale people so that they can scale that something. And sometimes it is necessary to take one of them out because they are either producing bad offspring or they're producing bad results. And I can go down that rabbit hole all day long when it comes to business, because producing bad offspring is making bad hires, making bad decisions. Producing bad results is like, because the thing is once this person departed, I was able to give another member of the leadership team an opportunity. And you know what? Upon giving them that opportunity, I experienced a month of not feeling like I was lied to or stolen from, the business actually cash flow positive and paying its bills, and a month of not coming to me and asking me to dip into another bank account to actually shore up that operation. So when you look at, well, what is right or wrong, I'm like, from an entrepreneurial perspective, it really does get into sometimes right is, it does come down to dollars and cents. And I guess I do feel the need to clarify in that respect that the dollars and cents it's about profit or loss. It's not about profit or greedy decisions for extreme profit. I don't believe any small business ever gets to experience being in a position of making those kinds of decisions, because small business, we're just trying to be profitable. But the hardest thing for small business people that have that close connection with their team is making the decision to take one of them out because they're not producing the results. Because at the end of the day, if you allow somebody to be in a position that is in fact costing you money, you are putting the entire team, you're putting the entire hive in jeopardy, because as a leader, you're not willing to make the hard decision and actually take one of your team members out. And simply put, most people have a hard time resonating with that, because in their little world, they think about just their family around them. But from an entrepreneur's world, like, you're thinking about yourself, and then you're thinking about your team, but you're putting food on your team's table. So you have to be thinking about their family. So like, decisions that you make don't just affect you and the food on your table. It affects the business as a whole, and whether it's capable of continuing to put food on your team members' table, which actually affects their entire family as a whole. And these are the pressures that entrepreneurs have to live with on a daily basis. And it is crippling, debilitating stress for most. And that is why I am a big proponent of telling most, you're not built for this. You shouldn't do this. And I'm saying it from a position of like firing people, demoting people. It is probably the hardest thing for me to do because of my actual background, but it is the necessary thing to do. It is what is required of you as an entrepreneur if you actually want to scale. And at the end of the day, I personally think it's what's required of you if you're going to build your respect, your rapport, and your reputation to the point where you do have confidence in yourself and you do build a team that is willing to follow you right or wrong, because that right and wrong is definitely subjective in the terms that they were trying to lay out. Because I have long said, like, if you find yourself surrounding yourself with people that you know are making bad decisions, then cut them off. Separate yourself from them. Surround yourself with people that are making bad decisions, and sooner or later, just surrounding yourself with them is going to cause you to start making bad decisions. And if you truly want to get somewhere in life, you have to make good decisions. You have to make the right decision. And sometimes it's just the best decision there is to be made with the information you have. And it's not necessarily about right or wrong, but it does end up being, from other people's perspective, the cold decision, because it does come down to dollars and cents and actually protecting all parties involved, because the group is more important than any one individual, especially when that one individual is not delivering the results and the expectations that were put upon them that they agreed to take on. And sooner or later, when you fail enough, the entrepreneur's job is to cut you off and give somebody else an opportunity to actually perform. Okay. I'm at like 12 minutes, and you know what? I'm literally, I am going to wrap up this pod. Like, if you want to live a successful life, if you want to be successful in entrepreneurship, then yes, it's going to take a little bit of time, because you're actually going to have to experience it. But while you're experiencing it, you should be investing in yourself so that you can learn, so that you can develop real self-confidence through internal and personal development and investment, so that as you're gaining the wisdom and learning the lessons, you're able to apply them to the next day, because you're going to need to lean on that confidence in order to own all of the happenings, good or bad. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to build a team. And if you want a team that will truly follow you into the depths of hell, being melodramatic, okay, well, then it's going to come down to your character, because you're not going to make great decisions all the time. You're going to make mistakes. And if you can have the humility to actually admit when you're wrong and ask for help, your team is going to be there and they're going to support you, because they see that you are a leader that is not too proud to not admit when you're wrong. You're not too proud to not ask for help, and that you're willing to get up every day and do what's necessary to make sure that you're doing the best for the group, not favoring any one individual. All right. That's my pod. Till next time, have a good night.